Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. This video is still in the new section of my channel. So, I actually wanted to do a different fan casting, but since I was doing Disney prior, I figured I'd go ahead and finish out with the Disney fan casting that I already had set up. So I will go ahead and do that. And I have been thinking of doing a fan casting for Disney's live action Princess and the Frog. And that's just kind of been something people have talked about. It hasn't really been a thing yet. Like, I don't think it's been confirmed or anything like that. I have my feelings on that movie. I like it. I don't think it's bad. I mean, I have my feelings on the movie in general, and I don't know how I'll feel about it being technically live action. I think I'll probably talk about that more when I do a separate video talking about the Disney remakes. It won't be like reviews or anything like that on those in that particular video because I want to save that for a separate series where I'll do commentary on the live action remakes. But I do plan to do a video where I talk about my feelings about that in general. So I'll probably include the Princess and the Frog thing in that. So because of that, I decided that maybe I would do a fan cast for Disney's supposedly live-action Hercules movie. Now, I heard about this sometime last month, and of course there was this giant list going around of potential cast, and I don't remember everybody who was on it. Some people I agreed with, some people I was like, no, but I was mostly against Hercules and Meg. They had Hercules as, I'm also going to really try to not say so much in this video, but they had Noah Centineo as Hercules, and I was like, that's a really weird choice. Like, I think he's likable, but I don't think I necessarily want him to play Hercules. I think that was a very interesting choice. And the girl they chose for Meg, I didn't really know her, but she didn't really do anything for me. Like, she didn't speak to me, but that could just be the simple fact that also Hercules was never my favorite Disney movie. It was kind of one that if it came on TV and I had nothing else that I'd rather watch, then I'd watch it. But it was never my favorite movie. Like, I enjoy Meg, I enjoy not Hercules, I enjoy Hades, and I actually really like the music in Hercules. But it just never was really that Disney movie that I was like, oh my god, I have to watch Hercules. That was not a thing. So I was debating for a long time if I was going to do this fan casting, but then because I think I'm good at it, I was like, maybe I should. So, I think my iPad's about to die, but okay. So, first, clearly, Hercules is our main character, and in the animated film, he is voiced by Tate Donovan, and I think that he does a really good job of having that balance of the naivety that Hercules has, but also trying to do the right thing, and also being very clumsy, and also being someone who's determined. He's really trying to prove to his biological father that he is worthy of being a god and joining them on Mount Olympus. And I think he does a really good job at maintaining that balance for him. So I thought really long and hard about Hercules. He was probably one of the harder characters for me to cast. And so I think that they need to cast an unknown. I think that's probably the best thing for Hercules, is to cast an unknown the same way they did with Mina Massoud for Aladdin. If they could find somebody who is a ginger like Hercules is in the movie, I think that'd be really cool. And I'm down for that. So, but because I couldn't find anybody that I liked, and I didn't want to just say, oh, make it an unknown, I did land on an actor, and this is Jonathan Whitesell. Now, before you freak out, because, oh my god, he looks nothing like Hercules. No, he doesn't. But he actually played Hercules in Once Upon a Time, and I will insert a clip here. Anyone!
Grab on. I'll pull you up.
Thank you.
You gotta watch out for hunter traps.
I'm Snow White.
Yes, you certainly are. I'm Hercules. But you can call me Herc.
He was likable. I liked him so much that he was probably, when he came on screen, I was like, oh, look at Hercules, he's cute, I like him. And then he had really good chemistry with what's her name, Bailey Madison, who played young Snow White. They were really cute. And then he later had chemistry with Jennifer Goodwin, who was adult Snow White, and I was like, this guy is really likable. I really like him, and I really liked him as Hercules. So I was really very upset when he literally was in one episode and then was gone. He could have been a regular character, or he could have come around a lot more often. I'm talking about Once Upon a Time and another thing, but so many missed opportunities for Hercules there. And then the fact that he just like died. Oh my god, you guys. But I like Jonathan Whitesell as Hercules. I think that he played him very well. He kind of had the same innocence, good heart, good nature that Hercules has in animated film. I don't think he needs to like dye his hair or anything like that. He can be a dark-haired Hercules. Obviously, he would need to just bulk up again because he was pretty, you know, he put on some muscle in the show. I recently saw him in Riverdale. He played this like really swarmy character, and I actually almost didn't recognize him because his hair was like all up in his face and stuff. But I was like, hey, look at him. So, yes, I think that Jonathan Whitesell will be a good choice for Hercules other than an unknown. Now, I do have some honorable mentions for him. And these guys, they didn't really speak to me, but I definitely wanted to include them because of the fact that they are, you know, honorable mentions. And so I have Cody Christian, who is known from Pretty Little Liars and Teen Wolf, and most recently he's on All American on the CW, and he also voices Cloud Strife in the Final Fantasy remake, which love that game. And I have Dacre Montgomery, who I particularly know from Stranger Things, and he was he was Jason in the Power Rangers reboot. John Boyega, who I like. Kelvin Harrison Jr., I feel like his tone is kind of so different compared to the animated movie, but I think it'd be really cool to kind of have him. Like, I really like him. Every time he's in something, I'm like, hey, it's Kelvin. So, I like him a lot. And I honestly think that Aaron Taylor Johnson, honestly, would be really perfect for this role. Like, when I looked him up, I said, oh my gosh, he would be really good. So, those are my options, my honorable mentions for Hercules, but Jonathan Whitesell is my main choice. Now, going on to Meg. She is voiced by Susan Egan in the movie, and her voice is really iconic. You hear her voice, you know it's Meg, and she's like sassy. She is free-spirited, independent. She's quick on her feet. She has a background of being hurt by the man who she loved, but he left her for somebody else, and so she's kind of jilted when it comes to romance. And she really spurns Hercules at first because he's like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful, but she's like, nah. But he just pulls her in with his, you know, his good heart and his innocence, that she just gets pulled into him. And I like the fact that they kind of interact a lot more. They interact a few times before she kind of decides, like, oh my god, I love him. You know, he obviously falls for her first. I mean, but I like the fact that it takes her kind of a minute, and I love the fact that she has like an entire song trying to decide if she feels this way and trying to deny that she does. And so I really like Meg. And I've seen this choice for Meg many times, and I really agree with it. And I even thought about it before I really started seeing this choice. But I think Elizabeth Gillies, who I know from Victorious, and I think is currently on a CW show called Dynasty, I think that she'd be really good for Meg. She also has an interesting voice. She can sing. This picture I chose for her, she has the ponytail, and she kind of like, I feel like she would handle Meg's look really well, and I feel like she would have really good banter with whoever is Hercules, and I think she'd have really good banter with my choice for Hercules of Jonathan Whitesell. And I feel like that she would be able to embody everything that Meg was in the animated movie, but then also kind of add her own, you know, quirky, I don't want to say quirky, her own flair to the character. And so I think she'd be really good as that. My honorable mentions for Meg is Zendaya, who I love. She's great. I could put her in everything, but I think she'd be really good as Meg as well. And then Haley Steinfeld, also because she also kind of has that kind of vibe to her, while also being able to pull a balance of the innocent, sweet feeling. And she also has a very different kind of voice. So, yes. Moving on to Phil. He is voiced by Danny DeVito in the animated movie. He is a satyr, half human, half goat. He is crotchety. He was a trainer for a lot of heroes in ancient Greece, and a lot of them just kind of didn't live up to their hype or to the promise they had, so he's kind of really jaded about it. But he ends up working with Hercules when he sees that, you know, he's the real deal and that he believes in the journey for him. And nobody else can play this role but Danny DeVito. There's no reason to recast him. Honestly, there's really no reason. I read that they watched Danny DeVito recording the voice, so they use a lot of his facial expressions and his mouth movements to do Phil in the movie. So I think that he could just be face capture, and they can have somebody else stand in for Phil in the movie, but Danny DeVito would do all the actual Alec face and mouth and dialogue and stuff. I think that'd be a really good idea. And my honorable mentions for Phil would be Peter Dinklage and Paul Giamatti, and I feel like they would also be able to really embody the Phil's kind of crotchety behavior, as well as being a massive flirt. So I think they both would do really good at that. So moving on to Hades, James Woods was the voice of him in the movie. I read that they wanted him to be Hades to be menacing in a quiet, spooky kind of way, maybe similar to Christopher Lee as Saruman in Lord of the Rings. But James Woods, you listen to him talk, he's very quick, he's funny, he's kind of like, you know, a radio show host kind of voice. So they were like, you know what, we can go with this. We'll make Hades off of what you do, and they did. And he's pretty iconic, you know. And I wouldn't be opposed to bringing James Woods back, but he says some wild stuff on Twitter, and he can just stay on Twitter. It's fine. We don't need that kind of energy in our Disney movie. So we are going to go into Jeff Goldblum for James Woods. Jeff Goldblum for Hades instead of James Woods. Jeff Goldblum, he has an interesting cadence to how he speaks. It wouldn't be the same as James Woods. It'd be different. It'd be Jeff Goldblum, and he'd be Jeff Goldblum playing Jeff Goldblum as Hades, and I think that he'd be fine. Jeff Goldblum, everybody likes him, and generally everybody likes Hades, and so I think that'd be a really good choice. And it's not that far from his character in Thor Ragnarok, so I don't think it'd be that far of a stretch. So I think he'd be fine in that role. My honorable mentions would be Tom Hiddleston, which I've seen fan art for him as Hades too, and I think that he'd be really good as well. But I was like, I don't know if I want him to play Hades after playing Loki, because they kind of have similar-ish vibes. So I would not be opposed to Tom Hiddleston. I think he'd be great, but Jeff Goldblum. My other honorable mention is Willem Dafoe. There's also fan art out there for him as Hades, and then Michael Keaton, because he'd be great, because he's great at everything. So, okay, this is a really interesting way of how I handled this. So, Pain and Panic are Hades' two henchmen, right? So, they're voiced by Bob Cat Goldthwait and Matt Frewer, and they're kind of bumbling, as usually these kind of sidekicks usually are. And so, first, I think their design could be a little different. I don't know if these type of designs for these characters would translate well into live action. Clearly, it'd be CGI, or it could be like a puppet thing, like how Labyrinth does their puppets. I don't know, but if it's CGI, I don't quite know if that design would kind of work, if it would be like kind of creepy as opposed to how good Gollum's design is. So I don't know if that'd work, but I mean, I'm not technical like that, but I do think they should still be creatures and not human. So I have two options, two pairs for these characters. So Jonah Hill as Pain and Michael Cera as Panic. That's gold, y'all. That's gold. Jonah Hill and Michael Cera, they would have that good balance that they always have when they're interacting with each other. Jonah Hill be the quick talking one, the one who's kind of like maybe a little clumsy, but he's in charge, and you're gonna know he's in charge. And Michael Cera will be the one that's always kind of like they don't really know like what to do, but he's Michael Cera. And I think it'd be really cool to have both of them play these two characters. Then my other pairing is Keegan-Michael Key as Pain and Jordan Peele as Panic. Now, when I told a coworker friend this, she asked me, well, why wouldn't you reverse them and have Peele as Pain and Keegan as Panic? And I said, well, that's what they want you to think, because Keegan is tall and Jordan is short. But the way I see it is that Keegan's Pain will be more kind of cool, and like he's kind of maybe been doing this for a long time, but Panic is, you know, kind of whiny, and he has to kind of pull him into making it work, to working with him. And so I think that's the kind of dynamic that they would have, is why I chose them for the roles I chose them for. I guess for Keegan to be similar to how he played Bonsai in The Lion King, where he's kind of the cool one, and he's kind of sick of the other one's crap. And so I feel like that is how it would be played. And Jordan Peele is really good at that kind of whiny energy, and so I think that would work really well for those two. So yes. So we're going on to Zeus and Hera. They are Hercules' biological parents. Rip Torn, rest in peace, it provides the voice for Zeus, and Samantha Eggar is the voice for Hera. Now, we don't really get to see Hera much. We see her maybe a few times throughout the movie, but she doesn't really have that many lines. We see Zeus a lot more because obviously he's at the beginning, and then Hercules sees him in the shrine, and then of course at the end. I would love to see Hera maybe have a little bit more of an active role, maybe because Zeus is telling dad jokes too much and his energy is just all over the place, that she's the cool, calm, and collected one, and she kind of keeps him level-headed. So my choices for them are Kurt Russell and Gina Torres. Now, the gods in Olympus are all different sizes, different shapes, different colors. You can give Kurt Russell a nice gold tint to his skin, make his hair, you know, because the look he had in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is kind of a good look for him, with the hair and the beard and stuff. Or even the look he has in that Santa Claus movie that's on Netflix, which I have not watched yet, but he looks great in that. That look, maybe trim the beard a little bit, and then give him just a nice gold tint. Gina Torres, she's beautiful, and she can take on the pink or purple skin I think that Hera has. I think that'd be fine. And this also allows for them, if they cast an interracial couple as Hercules' parents, that it allows for Hercules to be biracial. I don't think that would be far-fetched, so I'm just saying. But yes, Gina Torres and Kurt Russell as Zeus and Hera. Now on to his adopted parents, who find Hercules when he was a baby and when Pain and Panic stole him. I'm going to try to say the dad's name, but I'm usually pretty good with names, but I don't know about this one. Amphitryon and Alcmene. Amphitryon and Alcmene are his adoptive parents. Hal Holbrook and Barbara Barry play his parents, and I really love them because they know their son is special. They know, you know, he still has some strength left, and so obviously he causes some problems sometimes. But neither one of them, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Neither one of them punish him for it. You know, Hercules never does anything when he's younger to hurt anybody. Some things just get out of his control, and they just love him for who he is. And when he decides that he wants to find his birth parents after they tell him the truth, they're so supportive of him, and I think that's so great. So I really want to find people who I think would be likable, like who you would just love them, like right off the bat. So my top choices for them, as like a pair, is John Stamos and Justina Machado. Now John Stamos, obviously, you know, he's well known, Full House and Scream Queens and a bunch of other things. Justina Machado is currently on Dancing with the Stars, and I love her energy on that show. And also the show on Netflix, One Day at a Time, which I have not officially watched. I've seen like a clip or like a trailer, and I just really like her energy. And I think they'd be really cute together, and I think that they would be like these upbeat parents, and who would, you know, when they're younger, and then they have to be older when he's 18 before he goes off to go the distance. And I think that they would work, and I think they're super cute. My friend Karina actually suggested Justina Machado. I couldn't think of anybody for a good minute, so I attest Justina to Karina. My other option would be Stanley Tucci and Cristela Alonso. I could not remember Cristela's name. I could see her face in my mind when I was thinking of the mom, but I couldn't remember her name. So when my coworker said, "Oh, what about Cristela?" I said, "That's who I'm talking about. Thank you for your help." And that's what I was talking about. And so Stanley Tucci and Cristela, I think, would be a good pair. So John Stamos and Justina Machado, and then Stanley Tucci and Cristela would be my honorable mentions. Now for the fates. When I was looking up all the characters in the wiki, they are considered antagonists, but I don't really know if I agree with that. They don't really do anything to help, but that's the fate's job. They don't interfere. They're just there to watch and then to snip the thread of somebody who dies. And I believe in some instances in other media, they may interfere if you're messing with fates. I know in Supernatural, the fates were messing with the boys, Sam and Dean, because they keep messing with fate. So, but in this movie, they don't really do anything to be antagonists to me, but sure, they're like in a gray area, personally. They all have a different look. They share one eyeball that lets them see in the future, and they just kind of are like crotchety old ladies. I mean, you know. So the voices of them is Amanda Plummer, who I am familiar with, Carol Shelley, and Patty Edwards. I don't know the two of them, but I definitely know Amanda Plummer. And they predict Hades' attempt to conquer Olympus, and they basically just watch everything unfold as it happens. So I have two casting choices for them. I have like the normal older ladies to play the sisters, so I actually have 4 choices, but I'm going to tell you how they would be together. So I have Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, Shirley MacLaine, and Olympia Dukakis. So I would want Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, and Shirley MacLaine to be the set of 3 sisters, the 3 of them together, or Lily Tomlin, Shirley MacLaine, and Olympia Dukakis. And I chose them because Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin work really well together on Grace and Frankie, and I really like their interactions on that show. I've seen episodes because one of my best friends watches it, and I've seen episodes, and I really like their back and forth. And Shirley MacLaine and Olympia Dukakis were in a movie together, Still Magnolias, and they also worked really well together and had really great chemistry. So I think no matter which way the 3 are meshed, there will at least be 2 of the actresses who have worked together. I mean, I'm pretty sure at some point they all may have worked together with each other. I'm not that familiar with all their filmography, but that's what I think. So Fonda, Tomlin, MacLaine, or Tomlin, MacLaine, Dukakis. Okay? Now, I also have another choice where the fates are different ages and different races, because there's no reason for why they have to be the same age or why they all have to be the same race. It could be very diverse, and I think this movie is perfect for that. So my other choices would be Carol Kane as the older sister, Maya Rudolph as the middle sister, and then Constance Wu as the younger sister. And they're all so funny. Carol Kane has done so many things where she has dressed up weird. I believe she was in the Addams Family. Was that her? Yes, the Addams Family. And she was also in the Princess Bride, where she's wearing like prosthetics, and I think that she could do that again. Maya Rudolph is hilarious, and I think she'd be willing to wear whatever she needs to wear. And then Constance Wu is also funny, and I think that they would all work really well together. So yeah, my 2 sets of fates. So on to who you're probably waiting for, and that's the Muses. They are probably my favorite part of the movie. I like the songs a lot because of them. So we have Talia, Cleo, Calliope, Melpomene, and Terpsichor. But I'm going to go like in a list, and I'm going to tell you my top choices for them, and then at the end of all 5, I'm going to tell you my honorable mentions. But that's just because I'm not putting any of them for a specific muse, just as in general. So my first muse is Calliope, the muse of epic tales, and I chose Renee Elise Goldsberry. And if you don't know her, she is most well known from being Angelica Schuyler in Hamilton. And she was recently in a movie called Waves with Sterling Knight and Kelvin Harrison Jr. She's a beautiful voice. She has great range, and I've known her since 2016 because of Hamilton. She has like one of my favorite songs in the show, and she has an amazing range. And I think that Calliope comes off as like the older sister of the Muses, and I think that she would have that kind of energy where she's like, I'm in charge, I'm gonna let y'all have y'all fun, but I'm in charge, follow my lead, let's go ladies. And I think that her voice, being the fact that she has such a good range, will be a good base point for all the other ladies. So second, we have Melpomene, the Muse of Tragedy, and I chose Kelly Rowland. Now, I've seen fan casting with Kelly Rowland as Calliope, but I feel like she has a much better Melpomene vibe to me, especially when Kelly Rowland has really big hair. I feel like that's perfect for her. And I actually listened to all of these ladies that I chose sing. Like, I mean, obviously they haven't sung together, but I listened to all of their voices singing, and I feel like I chose really good ones that all would really, like, merge really well together. And so Kelly Rowland, she has like a high, she's a little deeper voice, but she's like a high alto, and so she's a really good range too, but I don't know if she can go like really, really high or anything like that. So I would want her to maybe stay a little bit in her lower range of it, so that way she kind of doesn't maybe she doesn't fuse with another voice, and her voice is very different anyway, so I think that'd be really good. And then I have Cleo, the Muse of History, and I chose Emmy Raver Lampman. She is most known right now from the Umbrella Academy as Allison, and I knew her before I saw the show, when I saw like previews and stuff, because when Hamilton went on tour, she opened the tour as Angelica, so I knew I recognized her, and so I knew she could sing, but I didn't know the extent of her singing until fairly recently. I've seen clips of her as Angelica from Hamilton, and wow. Wow. And I also saw clips of her being Elphaba in Wicked. Wow. Wow, y'all. She's high, and her voice seems higher to me, so she would be the soprano of the ladies. And this clip of her during Zero to Hero, I feel like she would do that really well. So.
And they slapped his face on every base, on every bar.
And she kind of comes off as the more sensible one, besides the Calliope, the sensible one of the sisters. So I think Emmy would do really good for that. Then we have Terpsichor, and she's the Muse of Dance. She always came off like the younger Muse to me, and so because of that, I wanted to choose somebody who was younger than my other choices. So I chose Kiki Palmer. And after seeing a particular picture of Kiki Palmer, I was like, you know what? I'm good with this. And I recently rewatched Grease Live to particularly hear her sing and to hear her sing live. And Kiki Palmer definitely has a deeper voice, and I think that she would be able to cover those lower notes. I think in the movie, Terpsichor has a higher voice, but I don't think that really matters in terms of who's at what. But Kiki Palmer, I think, would be great. She is I feel like she would fit the energy of Terpsichor, and I think that she looks great with short hair, and so she could have those bantu knots or twists, and it would fit her just fine. Well, lastly of the Muses, we have Talia, who's the Muse of Comedy. And you were waiting for it. I know you were probably already saying, where is Amber Riley? Amber Riley is right here. She will be Talia. I was going to definitely have her on the list. I would be crazy not to have Amber Riley on the list. She can sing. I was watching clips of her singing from Glee. I would never watch Glee, but I was watching clips of her singing, and her voice is amazing. And she's also funny. Her, if you guys saw The Wiz Live, where she played Ada Pearl, I think her name is. You know, my memory is crazy. Ada Pearl, when Fox did Wiz Live, which I also really liked, the personality that she kind of had, and that would be good for Talia. And I think that she would really kill that. So, yes. Those are the Muses. Renee Elise Goldsberry, Kelly Rowland, Emmy Raver Lampman, Kiki Palmer, and Amber Riley would be the Muses for the movie. And so my honorable mentions for them, like I said, I didn't pick any of them to go for a specific Muse, but just in general. Uzo Aduba, Cynthia Erivo, Patina Miller, Shanice Williams. I would love to see her come back. She was in Wiz Live. I haven't seen anything from her, but she can really sing. Lizzo, Jordan Sparks, and then particularly for Terpsichor, I would like Coco Jones, because I really liked her back when she was really popular on Disney, and I would love for her to come back and to be part of something. Now, whether or not it's Disney, I don't know, because she has videos on YouTube, and I don't know if she'd ever come back to Disney, but I would love for her to be Terpsichor. So, now, I just wanted to include these other gods because we do see them in the movie, and some of them do kind of have moments and lines and things. So, I have Hermes, and I've seen Stanley Tucci for him, but I don't want him because he's kind of, it kind of is an obvious choice for Hermes, but I actually chose Simon Pegg, and I think Simon Pegg would be great. He's funny, he can be very kind of sardonic and snarky, and I think that he'd be great as Hermes, and he can also be fast talking. So Simon Pegg is Hermes. Then we have Apollo, and he's a war god, and I don't think he has many lines, but we do see him a lot in the movie. And Trevante Rhodes, y'all. Trevante Rhodes is Apollo. It's a small part, but he can be in anything, and I will gladly look at him. Yes. Trevante Rhodes is Apollo. And then lastly, for Aphrodite, this surprisingly took me a very long time to find someone for Aphrodite. I don't know why, but no one spoke to me. I really was trying to think outside the box for this role. She's very minor, but it was really important to me to find someone who was different. So I ended up Googling, I believe, Latina actresses or something like that, and Emeraude Tobia came across the list, and I said, oh my god, that's Aphrodite. I know her from Shadowhunters, and I did not know why I didn't think of her, because I think she is beautiful. She is beautiful. And it's like I said, her role is small, but I think that she would catch your eye. Like whenever Aphrodite's on screen, you catch your eye. So I think Emeraude would really do that. And plus, Aphrodite looks too much like Hera. So I think it'd be good to have, two ladies who look different. Anyway, so yes. This is my fan cast, and it took me kind of a little long of a time. I knew this one was going to be challenging for me, but I really enjoyed doing it. And I think that when they do the live action, they should maintain the tone. I don't think they should take out the music. I think Hercules would need it to make it different from all the other Hercules movies we've seen. Because, there's the Hercules with Dwayne Johnson. There was those Clash of Titans movies, which I have not seen. And then the other Hercules movie with the guy from Twilight, Kellen Lutz, which I haven't seen either. And those are always kind of have the same kind of tone. And I feel like this Hercules movie would be very different. So they should keep the same tone as the animated movie. Keep the music, maybe add more music. I don't know, but I think they should not change it too much, because I think it would make it like all the other Hercules or Greek mythology movies we've seen in the past. I don't think it needs to be super serious. I think that's fine. They should keep it lighthearted, bright colors, music. Really let these people have fun. I think that's really important. So, what do you think about Hercules choices? Do you even want to see Hercules as a live action movie? Honestly, since I was on my kick with Atlantis, with being a series, Hercules could also be a series, but I believe I think they're just trying to make this one into a movie, so that's fine. I'm not opposed. I'm usually really optimistic about these movies. I'm not against it in any form. I'm curious to see what they do. So, what are your thoughts? Are you ready for a live-action Hercules movie? Do you want the Hercules movie? Would you rather be a TV series? And then who would you cast in these roles? Let me know in the comments below. And let me know if there's any other Disney movie that you would like me to fan cast. I mean, I love to fan cast. It's really fun. I'm eventually going to show you my fan cast for the Lunar Chronicles book series, because I think that would be a really good TV series. I'm going to do a fan cast for the Static Shock movie that I keep hearing about, so I'm going to share that. And I believe I have another fan cast, but I can't remember what it is. Let me check my trusty notes here. Oh no. Oh, I fan casted the MCU's Fantastic Four because, they acquired them. So I casted that. And then I also fan casted MCU's X-Men. Not all of them. That's a lot. But just some main ones. So I'll be doing those pretty soon too. So keep your eyes out for more fan casts from me, and let me know what you would like to see me fan cast. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Thanks guys for watching. I appreciate you.